2013. We all survived it. We can get a t-shirt now. We can all recover from the alcohol we consumed. We can all get up off our asses and go, oh shit. So, alright, with that bared in mind, it was not a very good year. It was not genuinely a very good year at all. Technology sort of took a slump. The smartphone actually was a commodity at this point. Everyone just about has one or has something based off one. Some people, hell, still have basic phones. Phones they just use just to call people. You know, that old-fashioned thing to do rather than texting all the time. I mean, I text myself, but, you know, it still doesn't beat a good old-fashioned phone call, I suppose. But, hey, I sort of am awkward on phones anyway, so I guess the texting works more for me. I don't know. I don't really know. Touch my nipples. So, as I go back on that, you pretty much have how Apple, pretty much their new phone, which was the iPhone 5S, I think it was called, pretty much was nothing different from the other phones. It was pretty much just a namesake at this point. Same thing with Samsung, rather. Their Galaxy S series was nothing too great. It was up to date, the history's best-selling Android phone, but that's all I can really point out and say through clear effect. But, hey, what can we do? So, I kind of can look at it like this. You know, we got that. We had the entire copyright fiasco, which we're obviously still going through. And it's not going to get tweaked anytime soon because the stone hedge wall that we like to call Google's communication is that bare minimum. You have all these big-name YouTubers who are, quite frankly, still pissed off. A lot of communities, such as, you know, even the gaming industry is kind of upset because most of these indie developers want to put up their own content on YouTube, and I'm getting flagged for no reason. You know, a couple unfortunate people got their stuff, well, not able to be monetized, which that would be good for them. It would mean more money in their pocket to help develop and put things towards development for games as well as research and everything else, because all this little bits and pieces cost money, as we all like to believe it or not. Because people don't like to work for free. That's all I can generally bluntly tell you without making you feel offended. So, how the hell can we even look at the future with all this rough, around the edges kind of thing? Well, because, quite frankly, we're not going to have any let-up anytime soon. People are just going to get more and more aggravated, more and more upset. You know, you got this whole entire PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, I almost said the PlayStation 1, the Xbox One. You know, they got this whole entire, they're not much different from the other consoles. Well, that's pretty much true. I mean, how far can you go on a budget to produce a console for a consumer under a certain limit of money? I mean, they have to go only so far. I mean, yes, you could tell some staggering differences between the consoles, but not too much, right? And that, of course, can almost be said with most of the PlayStation 3 games when they first came out. They didn't look too great. They were slightly grainy, but now they smoothed out, and they became better. That's why most people now are just sort of collecting the libraries of those said consoles now for the Xbox 360 and the said PlayStation 3. So, technology took a slump. Everything related to technology, such as social media, which is around technically YouTube. A lot of people felt degraded. A lot of people felt slumped about it. And we just have this great technological depression, as I like to call it, where businesses are slightly thriving off of the unsuccessful motives of said big publishers, because a lot of indie publishers are starting to get more noticed, which is excellent. I think that's great that the market has more competition for the major people to be able to look at and go, we're going to have to beat those guys. Or look at those guys over there. What are we going to do to add up in our game? So then next week, World of Warcraft has a patch and pretty much copies everything again. So what does World of Warcraft have to do with anything? Absolutely nothing. I just thought it was a really lame and easy, quick joke to throw out there. Hopefully some people caught that one with a good old Joe Montana hand hit grab there. This is good quality baseball. Anyway, even though it's technically football that he was narrating over sometimes. So, what can I say with a dry grain of salt in my throat? Nothing past the fact that I do hope we can see better advancements when it comes to technology. That's my major concern right now. I don't care about anything else, because with more technology advancement, that means better opportunities. Better opportunities for developers, better opportunities for publishers who are new and striving and hungry. Because do you remember way back in the day when Konami was a brand new kid on the block and they were starving, they were hungry, they were going to bite your damn head off because that's how hungry they were? Same with Capcom. The same with Square Enix when they originally came out. Remember King's, so what was it called? King's something or other? Brain fart, can't remember. It was called King something or other, that game there on the NES. I remember that game quite well. I just can't remember the last bit of the name because I'm tired. I have it in my collection, but I can't remember the damn name. Someone will probably correct me right off the bat. It's not King's Quest, because that's, of course, Enix. But, what can you do? What can you do? Looking through the entire horoscope when it comes to the future, I want to see something, and I want to see something very boldly. How creative can people be on YouTube? Now you think to yourself, what? We are creative on YouTube. It's creativity every single day. What are you getting at? Well, you see, there was a stool people standing on for a while to able to access the cookies they got for free. And I'm talking about the folks who were easily able to make content such as, video game reviews, and that's all they really had to do, and be slightly funny, and that's how they were able to be successful. While most people make and break with that situation, now these folks have to work harder in understanding the copyright rules and regulations, and of course apply themselves to those said fair TOS. So we can, of course, hopefully see something a lot more refined, a lot more educational when it comes to content. At least something I hope to be more educational towards content. Because if you're going to give me a review, educate me. I don't want to see you laughing, giggling, and being a clown. I want to see some more besides your personality behind the review. I want to see the actual game being demonstrated in a reasonable fraction of the matter. I mean, some people are like about it all they want. I mean, it is not going to change the fact that there's misfortunate strikes against their accounts as well as copyright strikes in general. Or in this case, claims. And that's another thing, too. I'm looking back at everything. It's sort of funny that everyone was complaining about not being able to make money about the video. And at the same time, the video is never removed from YouTube. It never is, never will be. But the company who actually either probably published it, I'm talking about the legitimate claims, I'm not talking about the fake claims, were tagging them and saying, hey, this is my cutscene footage here, this music is mine, and, we kind of don't want you to put it over a video because you're pretty much streaming it for free, and we try to sell this through our shops, because they do. Some soundtracks for some RPGs out there are sold separately, and I consider that something like, sort of like the music industry. I mean, at the end of the day, some people are going to tell me, well, music needs to be heard. That's true. At the same time, sometimes artists need to be fed too. But again, some people can argue, oh, no, they don't. The people heard it, they'll probably buy it. No, that's true and untrue. That's a very grayscale argument. It's something that would not be as valid or as bold as to point out, because some people really will not buy those said soundtracks anytime soon if they can access it for free on YouTube. Again, that's the problem most of these companies are coming with. Over time, this is something to degrade. This is like water splashing against the side of a cliffside. It's going to degrade over time, and you're just not going to notice it. You're just going to see the side of a hill or a mountain. But that water is just going to smack against that and smack against that, and it's going to tear away at the terrafold that is called the side of that mountain. But again, it does not matter at the end of the day. Supposedly, I'm not an educated man, so I don't know my P's and Q's and Z's and T's and PCBs and nipple-touching B's. Oh, man. Oh, man. So, closing out with this video, what do I got to say for myself is this. I can quite frankly say that I can hopefully beg for something good to come out from all three publishers of the said Nintendo camp, the Sony camp, and the Microsoft camp. While I am not really in bed with Sony and as much as Microsoft. I'm kind of liking Nintendo's approach so far. I've been playing some of the Zelda game that came out, and it's like, oh, this is pretty good. Reminds me a lot, gives it a nostalgia attack, but, you know, I'm waiting for something more original. I mean, these companies strived off survival. I mean, exception to Microsoft, they're kind of just there. And so, again, let's just hope to see that these companies all can revive, be competitive as ever, and of course give gamers something to play, because people bitch and cry about each other's consoles and the competing consoles, which is good. You're thinking, what? Why? While at the same time, it's good to have a healthy debate. It's good to be able to express yourself. There's one thing that's important. It's traffic. It's just that important concept. People becoming hungry to see their console succeed, to point out the other one and go, ha, fuck you. Which is the same thing, of course, in the console camps. These camps, of course, have cannons pointed at each other, and they're ready to blow. So, with that bared in mind, let's just hope everyone can survive this year, and there's a lot less of these said tragedies been happening also as well with passing the ways of peoples. Yes, that is a sentence somehow. I believe it was at some point. I can't remember. But anyway, I digress. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, that's fantastic. So take it easy, guys. Oh, you thought I was going to say subscribe, huh? Ha, got you there.